Hello, my name is Sean, and I'm representing the group that includes Victor and Asadur, and our project involves making a dashboard that allows us to explore diplomatic messaging on Twitter. So we are kind of working within the methodological domain of comparative politics. So we need data entities that are readily comparable so that we can generate insights, comparing apples to apples, if you will. And our data set is thus embassy accounts. And we're ultimately trying to create a full stack application that would be useful to policymakers and academics. So what are we up to? Well, Victor did a great job setting up the database and populating our database. It's a Postgres database with all the Twitter accounts of all the embassies of both the United States and Russia. So that was about 30 Twitter accounts that he harvested the information from. And Asadur has been working on generating machine learning insights such as topic modeling, and we're discussing different ways in which we could make a classifier. And I've been working on mostly the dashboard thus far. So let me show you what we have so far. Share screen. So this is one of the pages of our dashboard, really the only page that is complete. If you look at the other pages, we don't really have anything on there, but we will. And this part of the dashboard allows us to compare embassy networks. So here we have, in this map, we have all the Russian embassies and the size of the bubble. And the color right now is representing tweet frequency, but we can also do followers or something like that. We can also look at the embassy network of the United States. You can see that's a little bit different. So if we look at Russia, we can actually click on one of these bubbles, and that will tell us about Russia's behavior in that country. So the Twitter operations of Russia in Sri Lanka. And as you can see, there's this big spike in activity. Let's kind of see what's going on there. If we click on the likes or the retweets, that shows another column with another axis with the likes. We can look at the individual tweets and see which ones are really popular. When my map finally updated. And we can also compare different indicators that are present within different Twitter accounts. So here's the Embassy of Russia and its use of emojis just for fun. Here's the Embassy of the United States and its use of emojis, and we can look at that over time. So this is very much a rough draft dashboard. This is not nearly enough indicators. We plan on including a lot more, such as different indicators generated from Spacey, like the use of adjectives or verbs. How does that differ between the United States and Russia when they're doing diplomatic messaging within Sri Lanka, for instance? But we can kind of dive down and look at what's going on in an individual country. And this is not the only page that we want to include. We'd like to include multiple pages. One pertaining to network analysis. Victor is also uploading data from all the accounts that are associated with these embassy accounts. So maybe we could try to graph the broader network instead of just looking at the embassies themselves. We can look at how they interact. And we're also going to have a page for machine learning insights for our topic modeling and maybe our classifier, because that might not necessarily work in this part of the application. And basically, we don't have any large block curves, but we do have some challenges. One of the challenges for machine learning and NLP in this domain with our data set is that it's multilingual. There's all sorts of different languages involved. But luckily, Twitter labels the language, at least to some extent. We can actually look at that down here. So one insight might be that it looks like the United States is using local languages more often than the Russian embassy. That's something right there. So that's one of our challenges, is just the multilingual nature of the data set. We also have issues with efficiency. We're trying to connect the database to the dashboard eventually, but in the meantime, we have to pre-process everything before we can connect it to the dashboard. And that is maybe causing some inefficiencies. I would like this to update faster, but we're going to have to go through the code and try to make it more efficient. And there's also the issue of the Twitter API and its limitations. So we can't always compare tweets within the same time frame because some embassies tweet much more frequently. And so the 3,200 limit only goes back a few months or something, whereas for other countries, we have 4 years worth of data. So that is a challenge that we're dealing with. And I think as long as we kind of frame our insights with those challenges, we can come up with something. But basically, if you guys have any ideas for features that we could include, we have a long list of features that we're hoping to include in our dashboard. But I'm super open to ideas. I think we're all excited to hear back about what could be interesting, what possible insights could we get from this dashboard. There's like so much potential with the data that we're using. And I look forward to hearing back from everybody. Thank you so much.